All right, let's take a look at it. They tell me what AN is. I'm sorry, A1. They tell me SN, and they tell me what D is. So then the question is, what are you going to do with that? You're going to figure out what they want to know, which is AN and N. So my real problem is finding out what AN is, and N. If I know what N is, I know AN, all right? So let's write this down. AN is equal to A1, which is minus 6/5, plus N minus 1 D. All right? And do I know what D is? Oh yeah, D is minus 3/10. I'm sorry, I missed that. Let me just erase that then, okay? All right, but what I want to do is, I'm looking at that, and it kind of looks peculiar to me. I'm just going to simplify a tiny, tiny little bit. And I'm going to common denominator. And I want to write this down, because I think it's going to be pretty easy to write down. It's going to be minus 12. And then it's going to be minus 3n plus 3. And an is going to be minus 9 minus 3n over 10. Now, if you want to, you could write down an is minus 3 times 3 plus n over 10. Now, granted, someone says overkill. Do I need to do that? No, you don't need to do that. But I realize what an is now. It's minus 3 times, 3 plus n over 10. Now, granted, you could use this one, you could use this one, you could use this one, or this one. But what I want to do is I want to go, I kind of exhausted using these two things at this point. I'm going to start to use the Sn now. And what's it going to be? Minus 306 over 5. And I'll be careful. It's going to be n, 2. Do I know what A1 is? Yeah, it's minus 6/5. And do I know what AN is? Well, sort of. And what's that going to be? Minus, I'm going to write this down for you, 3 plus n over 10. Now, what's interesting about this over here is I have an equation in one unknown now that I think I'll be able to solve, all right? So it's going to be a little bit of work, but I think I could solve it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to work on it. So minus 306 over 5, I'm going to multiply it by 2. We'll do that later. Equals n minus 6/5 minus 3 times 3 plus n over 10. All right? And I'm going to multiply both sides by minus 10. Well, if I do that, I would get 306 times 4. Don't be alarmed yet. And this would be n. I'm doing minus 10 now. So you would get 12 plus 3 times 3 plus n. Let me keep going. It looks like it's going to be a little nasty, right? So 1,224 equals, I'm going to be careful here, right? So it's n 12 plus 9 plus 3n. 1,224 equals, well, 12 and 9 is 21, so it's going to be 21n plus 3n squared. All right, I'm kind of running out of room, so I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put it in a little different order. So I'm going to say 0 equals 3n squared. By the way, n is an integer number. I should say a positive integer. We're counting terms, by the way, that's why I'm saying that. Plus 21n minus 1,224. They're divided by 3, which makes it much easier for me. N squared plus 7n. And let's see, let's put this down the side. 3 into 1224. Let's see, 4, that's a 12. And then what do you get? 24, so it's going to be 0, 8, so 408. Now, granted, people looking and saying, are you really asking me to factor that number? Yeah, we are. All right, so I got to look at it. And I'm looking at that 408 and a 7. And I'm going to try. The worst thing about giving an opportunity to try is not to try. I got to put 408 down for you. Let me get my eraser out. I'm kind of saying that I'm done with all this baby work over here. I'm even done with this thing. I'm even done with all this business over here. All right, maybe I'm delaying what I have to do. I'm done with this too. I'm kind of done with this too. And let's see what I'm not done with. I'm not done with that thing. I might have to use it again. All right. And let's concentrate. And I'll put this down for you, how I would do it. Now, by the way, someone says, well, I don't do it that way. I do it differently. It doesn't matter how you do it. The outcome's the same. So I'm going to say, 2 times 204. And that's crazy. I mean, that's really crazy. And then I would look at, maybe I'd say 4 and 102. And then I start to think maybe 8 and 51. You get the idea what I'm doing? I'm just barring 2s. And now I'm seeing that 51 is kind of a familiar number to me. And I'm going to say 17 times 3, and I'll put 24 over there. Now I'm thinking to myself, 24 and 17 sure does look like it's going to differ by what I want, which is 7. So I'm going to write this down for you. 24, 17, plus 24 minus 17. And what do you get there? I know it's tough. You do get n squared. 24 minus 17 is 7n, and you do get minus 408. So I got 2 numbers. N is 17, or n is minus 24. You can't have minus 24. We're counting. So n is 17. What was their question? Find n. Did I find n? Yeah, n is 17. I'm agreeing with them. Now, what's the next thing? They want to get an. And I think I can put that down. And the reason I left this over here is I'm going to need it again. An is going to be minus 3. And, n is 7. Maybe I should write that down. Is A17 is equal to minus 3. 3 plus 17 over 10. We'll check the key later, by the way. 3 plus 17 is 20. 20 divided by 10 is 2. So you get minus 6 for A17 or AN. We're done. Thank you.